here. But thank you guys so much for coming. This is my first ever all 106.3 basement session. What a hell of a way to kick it off. Judah and the Lion. Let's make some noise. So, the way we're going to do this is I have questions from you guys. Thank you so much for submitting them and for calling in and everything. So, I'm going to ask your questions. And, you know, I could just do an interview, but how many times have you seen that? So, we're going to have your questions, kind of sprinkle them in between songs. But I say we kick it off right. Can we get Judah and the Lion in here?
You guys filed in really quickly. I was not expecting this many people. Thanks so much for coming and giving us your lunch break or school. What
School.
what are you doing? School?
We're skipping school.
Skipping school. What about work? Can I get a work? Come on. What about you young guns? School? Alright.
Our banjo players work.
Yeah, our banjo player missed his connecting flight because his flight got delayed, so we're minus one banjo player. And for those of you that really love Nate and cherish his beard and his banjo goodness, on behalf of him, we're really sorry. We've never actually played with this setup before, so this is a very unique situation that you're getting. But yeah, we love these radio things. They're so fun for us. It's like, in a lot of ways, we're kind of going back to our roots a little bit. And I kind of tend to talk a little bit too much at these, so just please bear with me. We don't get to tell the stories of these songs very much anymore at our show, so this is kind of our time to kind of let you guys know, I guess, some of the songs, what the meaning behind them and stuff like that. So if I get talking too much, just shut me up. But we used to go on these house show tours. It's funny, our show tomorrow is in Searcy, Arkansas. And the last time we were in Searcy, we went on this house show tour, and it was our last stop of this tour. And we were like, we had just started, we're still in school. I was playing baseball, so we could only do really touring in the summer when I was off of baseball. And Searcy was our last show, and we were like feeling amazing about ourselves. There were like 40 people that showed up in Boulder. We were like, this is awesome. And we get to Searcy, Arkansas, and the way it was set up, the tour was set up was, you know, we sent an email out or a Facebook post and just said, hey, if anybody would be willing to host us, we're going to just hop in a van and kind of go. If you would just host us and feed us and let us sleep on your floors after, we'll come to your house, essentially, and play shows. And so we got a list of cities, and we were like, this is a cool routing or whatever. We were kind of idiots at the time. Not that that's really changed, but we're a little bit smarter idiots now, I guess. But we get to this last show, and it's just like this sweet little family of four. They got two little ones, and just two parents, and they had like potluck or like a stew on. And we were like, okay, like we know where should we set up? So just set up over there in the living room. I was like, okay, well, when are the people gonna get here? And they were like, they just looked at us kind of like weirdly, and they were like, this is it. We're your crowd tonight. And they literally put down the baby in the middle of our set. And we were like, do we need to stop? Or he's like, just keep going. And so it's like, it's a little awkward. Anyways, this first song it's just funny because we were talking about going back to Searcy tomorrow, and it's just, we just really hope that family shows up. The kids a little bit older, just big, massive Judah and the Lion fans. But anyways, this first song, to get to it, I guess some big life moments for me happened last year. My first nephew was born, which was such an amazing gift and special thing. And then about a month after that, my grandpa I was very close with suddenly passed away from cancer, and one of my best friends from high school, ironically, about a month after him, also passed away. And it was just like these 2016, sorry. It was just like these very, very high moments for me, and then also some extremely like emotionally kind of sad moments. And you get to those life moments, whether good or bad in your life, and you kind of reflect or kind of think about like what you're doing and what matters to you, and so that's what this song is kind of about. Also, we do know 401ks are a good thing, and it's good to save for your future.
Trading my youth for no student job. I ain't giving my freedom for your money and status. So don't say I'm getting older, 'cause I'll say going out of you. 'Cause everybody I know is growing old too. I don't want to go, no, how am I supposed to slow it down so I can figure out who I am? And I ain't trading my dreams for no 401k. This fire cold dark. So don't say I'm getting colder, 'cause I'll say when I do. 'Cause everybody I know is growing old too. I don't want to go, no, how am I supposed to slow it down so I can figure out who I am? Some of us surviving, some of us just roaming, some of us just hoping the world would move more slowly, and some of us alive, we're all gonna die one day. Some of us surviving, some of us just roaming, some of us just hoping the world would move more slowly, and some of us alive, we're all gonna die one day. Some of us surviving, some of us just roaming, some of us just hoping the world would move more slowly, some of us alive, we're all gonna die one day. Everybody I know, growing old. So I can figure out who I
Thanks so much.
Yeah, one more time. I think it's one of those things where you go to do an acoustic session and you're like, oh, this is going to be chill and acoustic. That was awesome. Cool. All right, so we got some questions from our lovely audience here. So this is from Luke from Des Moines. Who would you guys like to tour with? I just saw that you're going on that Paraboy thing, which is, I'm super jealous. Paramore is like one of my favorite bands, so if you meet Haley, we'll tell her I said hey. But yeah, who would you guys, like, your dream tour? Maybe Alive or Dead, Luke, is that cool?
Live or Dead's fun.
I've always wanted to tour with Coldplay. I think collectively we would love to as a band. That'd be sick.
It would be Queen for me.
Stay pretty modern and say T-Swift.
Respect. Okay. Charlie from Waukee wants to know, if you guys could collab with another artist, who'd it be? I guess maybe something different. I don't know.
Queen.
think we need like a good hip hop collab. That'd be good for us. I would love to collab with Chance because I'm from Chicago.
That would be sick.
I'm with Chance. I'll jump on the Chance train too.
I'm gonna go with Bach.
Wow. Strong. All right. Okay.
It's still dead or alive, right?
Yeah. We'll just keep that as a running theme throughout. Yeah.
It's like that lead singer's a weirdo.
All right. Shannon out of West Des Moines wants to know, what's your favorite place to perform? And okay, no pressure. Stone.
Don't blow it.
We just did our first tour over in Europe, and we'd been to Scandinavia, like Stockholm and the Scandinavian countries, but we'd never done like the whole like UK and all these countries that we got to kind of see. And I'm just gonna say from that tour, since that one's kind of fresh, I love playing a show in Paris.
Agreed.
Yeah. Paris all across the board. The city of love. All right, Sherry from Des Moines wants to know, why'd you guys re-release Take It All Back in a 2.0 version?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it was like silence.
I think we wanted to like get something that was a little bit, I guess it was kind of for radio and a little bit quicker and like a little bit more produced with the hip hop elements. When we recorded it on the album, it was very live. Like we all sat in a room and played through the song once, and that was pretty much what you hear. So like that raw element was awesome for the album, and as like the song got more popular, we wanted to add some more like production to it.
Solid. All right, you guys want to hear another one? I know that we're inside, but I feel like you guys are afraid to be loud. You guys want to hear another one? Yeah. Go.
So this next song is kind of an oldie of ours that came out on our first EP, and at the time my grandma was going through a pretty, like I guess my family is kind of going through a pretty rough thing with just my aunt and her. She's going through this like really terrible divorce and dealing with depression and yada yada yada. And I remember like as a young kid kind of walking in and seeing my grandma like crying like at her kitchen table, and I'd never seen my grandma cry before. It was like one of those moments where you're just like, as a grandkid, you're like, this sucks, I can't do anything about it. So we wrote a song about hope for her.
In my head I may not know what I feel down in my soul. With my eyes I may not see the fire that burns inside of me. So just stand strong, hold on to hope. Yeah, you just grab on, don't ever let it go. 'Cause when your back's against the wall, you're not alone. Here now I have been set free. Fear is like a river. Hey! Here now I can see the light. And the dead man coming back to life.
right, you guys got time for some more questions? All right, JD from Des Moines. You mind standing up, raising your hand or something? I didn't do this for the other guys. That's JD right there. You're in so much trouble, dude. It's not even a question. JD wants to know, what direction do you guys want to take the band over the next couple of years?
That's a great question too.
Stay standing.
Yeah,
JD, you do whatever you want, my friend.
This is your moment. We'll give you the mic too. I don't know. The thing that we've kind of promised ourselves ever since the beginning, that we would allow ourselves to change and to grow. And if you listen to our records from the start, then you kind of, I guess, hear that kind of flow. With our first kind of stuff being like super raw and folky and bluegrassy, and then now with this kind of different idea and twist on hip hop and rock and roll and the instruments that we play. But we've kind of always just said we hope that each record becomes more and more like Judah and the Lion, if that makes sense. We want to become. There's this Miles Davis quote that I love, and he said it could take an artist a whole lifetime to figure out how he sounds or she sounds. And I think for a band that you can even expand that. It's like everybody's coming in with completely different influences and different stories and histories of music and their family and different geographical places where we grew up. So our hope is that each record would, become more and more Judah and the Lion, if that makes sense. So that's what we're just gonna kind of follow.
Nice. Ellie from Des Moines, where are you at? Hello, Ellie. Front row right here. Ellie wants to know what your favorite song to play live is and why.
That's a great question. I think it kind of changes. You kind of interact with the crowd differently in each city, and they react differently to the songs. One of my favorites to do is Reputation, just because it's like our let loose kind of like dance moment in the set.
I think for me, mine is mostly just kind of based off of like the crowd connection and kind of seeing the way crowds react or sing along to a certain song. And just being in Europe, it was cool to see, because in Europe, it was like our first tour there. Nobody really even cares or really knows about us, so it was really fun to kind of go back to that, I don't know, winning the crowd over or something with just like your show, and Take It All Back, I think, was my favorite one there, even though nobody knew the song at all. It was really cool to kind of see the room shift by the end.
Yeah, kind of a combination of both of those. Reputation, just like being in a new environment, and like we were in Europe and nobody had ever even heard of us, and so getting to kind of show our personality through a song that's pretty different across our spectrum, our discography, I guess. It's like a pretty like unique song, and so it's trying to show people like a different side.
Nice. There were a ton of questions. I'm sorry we can't get to all of them. Most of them were like, what are your influences and like who could you collab with and stuff. So from answering those, maybe we're gonna have like 1 million bands come out of this room, which would be sick. This last question is from No Name. So if I yeah, the dark mystery. So if I read this question, go ahead and stand up and you can say your name or whatever. But who is the lion? Who was that wrote that? Stand up. What's your name? Just kidding.
Elizabeth.
Asking
That's the name of my niece, that was just born. So give it up for Elizabeth.
Yeah, Elizabeth. Thank you.
I thought you were saying lion, like who's the lion, and you're like, that's the name of my niece.
I don't know.
I mean, usually Nate at this part, he like raises his hand, and it's really funny because he has like a really big beard, but he missed his flight, so we don't have an answer.
The dream is to have like a Simba lion or something that we can like hold up and everybody can like, I guess that would be weird if they bowed down to it, but at the show just have like a Simba. We're all here, so that's what live music is. Just big shout out to the radio station and everybody here that's working and worked so hard to bring us in. And we on a very transparent level, and I hope you know that I'm not BSing you when I say this. We never really dreamed radio would be a part of our band's story, just given our instruments and I don't know, just like it's not maybe typically what you would necessarily hear, and it just means a lot when radio stations believe in us and have kind of elevated this story so much in this past year. And anyway, so huge shout out to you guys for supporting, and to you guys that are the listeners and the supporters. It just means a lot to us. This last song, it's kind of funny because it is our most like popular song right now, but what the song is talking about is like kind of our redefinition of what success looks like. We got the opportunity to play the David Letterman show like right before he retired and had all like the cool bands come up or whatever. It was like we were in February or something, and I think he retired in May, so just the timeline there for you. But it wasn't really even on our radar as a band because it's like he had announced that he was retiring like 6 months, and we'd come out with our first record like a few months before that, and we were like, that's a little right out the book. So when we got that opportunity to play there, and it was just like this like moment as a band where we kind of felt cool, or I don't know what the right word is. We felt like we did something that was successful, and it was such like an honoring moment. Like we had that moment forever, and felt so like blessed to be able to be on that show and like shaking his hand and really nervous. But the day after, we really just kind of started to realize that we didn't want to have success be this like checklist items that we felt like that we needed to check off, because you know, I don't know maybe what it is for a radio station or whatever it is for you in your own field, but as a band, you know, you can define success as like how many Instagram followers you have, or how many people are coming to your shows, or how many late night TV shows, or how famous you think you should be, or whatever. And we wanted to kind of define what success was after that, just because we kind of felt ourselves just naturally falling into that, if that makes sense. So we said that success is about people and about connecting with people, and it's about making honest music that hopefully can help the world. And this song is just kind of talking about, like, at the end of the day, no matter how many people are singing along to the banjo or dancing along, we're like waking up to the fact that success isn't about those things. So thank you guys so much. I hope you all have an awesome day. I'm pretty sure the radio station can sign like legit excuses for each of you.
Yeah, just see me after the show.
Thanks for coming to Des Moines, guys.
I'm really, really looking forward to this solo that Spencer's going to have to give.
I'm well on my way to my dream. I'm true and I'm getting to do it with you. It feels so nice when the people sing along. They're singing along to the banjo.
Here we go.
Take it all back, take it all back, take it all back. I take it all back just to have you. And I take it all back, take it all back, take it all back. I take it all back just to have you. One day we might have a big house with nice cars and fancy clothes and a wife with a big old diamond ring.
Top that right.
The people, they're dancing along to the bando and some sort of hip-hop beat. Did I take it all back, take it all back, take it all back. I take it all back just to have you. And I take it all back, take it all back, take it all back, back. waking up. I'm waking up. Oh, I'm waking up. Real great, feeling well on my way to my dreams coming true, and I'm getting to do it with all of you.
Thank you guys so much for being here. One more time, shoot in the morning. So, you guys can stay in here for just a second while they get fixed up. We're going to do photos with you. We're going to do 2 at a time. That's cool. Yeah? How was that? That was insane. I'm going to turn off Facebook Live. Bye, Facebook Live. You want to say bye, Facebook Live? Bye. Bye, Facebook Live.